Right friends, welcome back to lecture session of 30th week. This is from 20th July to 26th July. Let us look at the highlights. Pradhan Mantri or the Prime Minister launched Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Jyoti Yojana DDU-GJY. Government extends interest subvention scheme. We are going to discuss what is interest subvention scheme and what are its implications and how it affects the agriculture sector. Other decisions of the Union Cabinet, some important decisions were taken with regard to the extension of a modified special incentive package scheme or otherwise known as MSIPs. We are going to discuss in detail about MSIPs. E-Shakti going digital for self-help groups. This is the NABARD initiative of digitizing these SHG activities. Supreme Court dismissed curative petition of Yaqub Memon and subsequently he was hanged in Nagpur. Supreme Court lifts a stay on state governments from releasing life convicts on remission, but there are some riders we are going to discuss in detail. New Development Bank of BRICS was formally launched in Shanghai. They stated that they are going to give first loans during the first half of 2016. Banks reopen in Greece after 3 weeks. USA, Cuba normalize relations after 54 years. They decided to open embassies. Other important aspect is the land law amendment by Maldives, not palatable for India, and the decision may benefit China, that is India's concern. 2 dead in firing in Louisiana in the United States of America. Gun culture is the biggest bane of US society, says Barack Obama, and gun laws, his biggest failure during the past 6 years is he is not able to modify the gun laws, as admitted in an interview to BBC. Look at the sports event. The Sessions Court discharged Srishant, Ajit Chandila and Ankit Chavan in IPL spot fixing case of 2013. India top recipient of US economic aid in 66 years, but in military aid Israel tops. 7 Indian companies in Fortune 500 list, and these are the important highlights of the week. And let us start with the first issue, that is the Prime Minister launched Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Jyoti Yojana or DDU-GJY. And before going into Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Jyoti Yojana, I would like to emphasize one point. Previously similar program exists. The program which exists prior to this program was Rajiv Gandhi Gramin Vidyutikaran Yojana, or popularly known as RGGVY. The main purpose of RGGVY, which was introduced in the year 2005, to be precise in April 2005, that means Rajiv Gandhi Gramin Vidyutikaran Yojana was started in the year 2005 with the main objective of electrification of all the habitations of population 100 and above, electrification of habitations of population 100 and above. Second important aspect is for persons below poverty line, for the families below poverty line should get free electricity connection. So these are the main aims of Rajiv Gandhi Gramin Vidyutikaran Yojana, which was started in 2005. Now government started a new program, that is Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Jyoti Yojana, and this Rajiv Gandhi Gramin Vidyutikaran Yojana is no more in existence. That will be subsumed into this new program, and now the program is Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Jyoti Yojana, or popularly known as DDU-GJY. what is the main purpose of this program? The main purpose of this program is separating the feeders for household connections as well as agriculture. Separating the feeders for household as well as agriculture connections so as to give 24/7 power supply to all the households in rural areas. By separating the feeders for agriculture and households, government intends to give 24/7 power supply to the rural households in the country. And second important aspect is it wants to minimize the distribution costs in rural areas. Third important point is losses are to be minimized by installing meters wherever possible. By installing meters wherever possible, it wants to minimize the losses. So, these three are the objectives of Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Jyoti Yojana, and here it involves total outlay of 76,000 crores of rupees, and out of which 63,000 crores will be provided by central government as grant. Out of 76,000 crores of rupees, 63,000 crores of rupees will be provided by central government as grant. Please don't forget. And this was launched in Patna recently in the presence of Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar. Looking to the next issue, other inaugurations by the Prime Minister in Patna. Prime Minister inaugurated Daniyawan Bihar Sharif new railway line. This is around 38 kilometers railway line between Daniyawan and Bihar Sharif. He also flagged off a Patna Mumbai AC Suvidha Express, and newly built campus of IIT Patna was inaugurated, and the construction work of Jagdishpur Haldia natural gas pipeline was also inaugurated by the Prime Minister at Patna. So recently he visited Bihar, and these activities took place in the Bihar capital of Patna. Right. Look into the next one. Government extends the interest subvention scheme. You may ask, what is interest subvention scheme? And this interest subvention scheme is given for crop loans given to agricultural farmers. Crop loans given to agricultural farmers. This interest subvention scheme is extended for 2015-16 also. And before going into the details, let us look at this chart. Please look into this picture. All of you are familiar with the base rate. Base rate is the rate fixed by the Asset Liability Management Committee of banks, below which normally loans should not be granted. Below base rate, normally loans should not be granted, except some exempted categories. I am not going into the details. Except some exempted categories, below base rate, no loan should be granted. But in some cases, for projects like crop loans in agriculture, solar energy, export credit, loans given to scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, under these circumstances, government will subsidize the interest. Below base rate, if the loans are granted to these categories like agriculture, export credit, solar projects, loans to SCs and STs, in these cases, government will subsidize the interest. That is known as interest subvention. Here, as per the government notification, farmers will get crop loans up to rupees 3 lakhs. Farmers will get crop loans up to rupees 3 lakhs at the 7% interest. Now the base rate is around 9 to 10%. Base rate of banks is around 9 to 10%, but farmers will get crop loans. Each farmer will get crop loan up to the maximum value of rupees 3 lakhs at the 7% interest. And government will pay 2% interest to banks. That is called interest subvention. Banks are giving loans at lesser interest rates to farmers, and that 2% interest will be paid by central government to banks. That is interest subvention, or you can call agricultural subsidy in this case. And when farmers repay in time, if the time period of crop loan is 1 year, if farmers repay within that time period, they will further get 3% interest subvention. That means instead of 7%, they will be charged just 4%. So this 3% also will be paid by central government to the banks. That is the meaning of interest subvention, or you can say interest subsidy. And this is started in the year 2006-07. Every year government is giving interest subvention ranging from 1.5% to 3%. This year it is 2%. And here the scheme is extended for 2015-16 also, and in the areas where farmers are affected by natural calamities. In the areas where farmers are affected by natural calamities, this scheme is extended beyond the period also. That means if the farmer is supposed to pay back within 1 year, he is not able to pay because he is affected by natural calamity. Under these circumstances, this interest subvention will be extended beyond the natural period or beyond the last date of payment also, right? So this I have given in the PPT, and look at the other decisions taken by the Union Cabinet. Union Cabinet wants to give more emphasis on manufacturing of electronics goods. Union Cabinet wants to emphasize more on developing manufacturing in electronics sector, and with a view to increase the manufacturing sector in electronics, government extended the modified special incentive package scheme. Government extended the modified special incentive package scheme, or popularly known as MSIPS, for 5 more years. You may ask, what is MSIPS? Please look into this slide. It is a modified special incentive package scheme started in the year 2012. It was started in July 2012. This is modified special incentive package scheme, basically to promote manufacturing of electronic goods. Basically to promote manufacturing of electronic goods, and for the projects which are involved in manufacturing of electronic goods, subsidy for investments in capital expenditure. Subsidy for investments in capital expenditure. If somebody is starting a project of manufacturing LEDs, and if the capital expenditure is 1000 crores, then subsidy will be given out of this capital expenditure, and the subsidy is 20% for investments if the industry is situated in SEZ area. The subsidy for capital expenditure is 20% when the industry is situated in SEZ area, and 25% when the industry is situated in non-SEZ area. That means this is basically capital subsidy for electronic sector, and initially during the year 2012, 26 items were taken for electronic manufacturing involving telecom, IT, hardware, LEDs, LCDs. Now, initially the time period given was 3 years for this MSIPS program, and now the cabinet took a decision to extend this by another 5 years up to 2020. Not only that, 15 new categories are also added. 15 new categories are also added, which include consumer appliances, electronic products design, optical fiber products, and Internet of Things products or IoT products. These are also added under this. This is important decision taken by the Union Cabinet. So please be cautious about this MSIPS program, which was started in the year 2012, initially for a period of 3 years and now extended for another 5 years. It is basically giving capital subsidy when somebody is coming forward to establish manufacturing industry in electronics. right? So the other decision is integrated coastal zone management project was also approved for restructuring the integrated coastal zone management. This is basically taking care of environment in the coastal areas. Basically to take care of environment in the coastal areas, or you can say sustainable development. And this is another decision taken by the Union Cabinet, also approved an agriculture university to be established in Samastipur in Bihar. So these are the important cabinet decisions taken recently, right? Look into the next issue, E-Shakti. Now, NABARD is piloting this program. All of you are well aware. Bank linkage program to self-help groups. Bank loan linkage program to self-help groups is monitored by NABARD. Similarly, now NABARD is taking up an initiative of E-Shakti or digitizing the activities of self-help groups. For digitizing the activities of self-help groups, now NABARD took an initiative for digitizing the activities, and 2 districts were taken as a pilot project. One is Dhule in Maharashtra. It is one of the backward districts in Maharashtra, and second one is Ramgarh in Jharkhand, right? So these 2 districts were taken on an experimental basis for digitizing the records. And you may ask, what is the main problem of functioning of SHGs? The problem with SHGs is they may have multiple financing. There is no mechanism to monitor whether they have taken finance from one particular bank, multiple financing. Second important aspect is inadequacies in accounting process. Probably they are illiterate, that may be one reason. Third important aspect is funds are not being used for the purpose meant for. They may take loan and they may purchase some gold chain. They are supposed to do the activities for which the loan is intended, but sometimes they are diverting the loans. So to take care of all these things, now NABARD's program will definitely help in streamlining the activities of self-help groups, right? Look into the next issue. Supreme Court dismissed curative petition of Yaqub Memon. Curative petition was filed and curative petition was dismissed by the Supreme Court, and finally he was hanged in Nagpur on 30th July. And this case pertains to 1993 serial bomb blast in Mumbai, which killed 257 people and more than 700 people wounded in the serial bomb blast of 1993 in Mumbai. And in this case, Yaqub Memon was sentenced to death. And you may ask, what is the curative petition? Curative petition is not as per any specified law, but it became convention subsequent to 2002. In the year 2002, in Rupa Ashok Hurra and Ashok Hurra case, this curative petition became convention from 2002. Conventionally, Supreme Court is admitting these type of curative petitions. And what is the procedure to be followed? After the final conviction, he can approach the court, that is the review petition. After the conviction or final conviction of a person, he can file review petition. Once that review petition is also dismissed, he can file curative petition. But there are several restrictions on curative petition. The first and the foremost is curative petition should be the rarest of rare cases only. Curative petition should be filed in rarest of the rare cases only. Second important point is the curative petition must be accompanied by certification of a senior advocate giving reasons for admission. First thing is, it should be in rarest of the rare cases. Second thing is, it should be accompanied by certification by a senior advocate giving reasons for admission. So these two are the prerequisites. And what is the main purpose of curative petition? Basically to ensure no miscarriage of justice. Basically to ensure no miscarriage of justice. That means justice is not denied. Second important point is processes are not violated. That means while delivering the judgment, all the processes are followed. Third thing is eliminating the apprehension of bias in the judgment. So, to eliminate these three things, curative petition will be admitted, rarest of rare cases only, and second thing is reasons are to be given, that means certification is to be given by a senior advocate. So, I explained these things only to tell something about curative petition, because the curative petition of Yaqub Memon was dismissed by the Supreme Court and subsequently he was hanged. Right? Remaining details are available in this PPT. Look into the next issue. Supreme Court lifts a stay on state governments from releasing life convicts on remission. Remission is nothing but reducing the penalty. Remission is reducing the penalty. Last year, on July 9, 2014, Supreme Court imposed a stay on state governments for granting remission of life convicts. Why this situation arose in 2014? I would like to explain in detail. In the year 2014, Tamil Nadu government took a decision to release the life convicts in the Rajiv Gandhi assassination case. Rajiv Gandhi was the former Prime Minister of the country and he was assassinated on May 21, 1991. On May 21, 1991, at a place called Sri Perumbudur, around 40 to 50 kilometers from Chennai. In the year 1991, Rajiv Gandhi was assassinated and subsequently 7 convicts were on life sentence. 7 convicts were on life sentence, and in the year 2014, Tamil Nadu government decided to release them, and subsequently Supreme Court imposed stay on the state governments for granting remission of life convicts. Now Supreme Court lifted that ban and stated that state governments can take decision with regard to the life convicts as far as granting remission is concerned, but they imposed several conditions. The first and the foremost condition is conviction is based on enquiry by CBI, then state government cannot take decision. State governments cannot remit the sentence or remission cannot be exercised by state governments in the following 5 cases I have listed here. First and the foremost is when the conviction is based on enquiry by CBI, they cannot take decision. Second thing is when the conviction is for crimes under TADA. TADA Act came in the year 1985. It was into existence till 1995, and the cases taken up under TADA and convicted under TADA should not be remitted or remission cannot be granted by state governments. Third is conviction for gruesome crimes like rape or murder. Fourth one is in cases where the punishment is specified as till the end of their lives. If the punishment is specified as till the end of their lives, state governments cannot grant remission. Last one is in cases where imprisonment is specified as not less than 20 to 25 years, then also state government cannot grant remission. So these are the stipulations imposed by Supreme Court while granting permission to state governments for granting remission to life convicts. Right? So this is all about Supreme Court's lifting stay on state governments from releasing life convicts on remission. Right, friends? Look at the world events. The first and the foremost is a new development bank of BRICS was formally opened. New development bank. All of you are well familiar with this BRICS bank or new development bank. KV Kamath will be the first president, and this was formally launched at Shanghai on 21st July 2015. It is expected to provide alternate finance for sustainable development and infrastructure projects, and developing economies somewhat fed up with International Monetary Fund, World Bank as well as Asian Development Bank, because the say of the developing countries in these multilateral financial institutions is not much. Now this new development bank will have its own structure, and here it has got 5 members. No one will have veto power, and the authorized capital will be $100 billion. Initially it will be $50 billion and extended up to $100 billion subsequently. Not only this, this will have contingency reserve arrangement of $100 billion. Please don't forget. It will have contingency reserve arrangement or CRA of $100 billion to take care of exchange related problems among the BRICS countries. Please don't forget. And this was finally launched in Shanghai on 21st July 2015. And in this connection, I would like to tell you a few more points. The first president will be from India, KV Kamath. The first chairman of board of governors will be from Russia. Board of governors, normally the finance ministers are board of governors. Please don't forget. And the first chairman of board of directors will be from Brazil. Please don't forget. Right? So with this, let us move on to the next issue. Banks reopen after 3 weeks in Greece. Greece crisis was finally settled. We have discussed in detail in the last week's news analysis and features as well as lecture part what is Greece crisis and how it was solved. And there are several structural reforms required to be taken up by Greece, and Greece parliament also voted for some structural reforms in the first phase. Greece parliament also voted for some structural reforms in the first phase. First and foremost is changes to the civil justice system. Second one is bank deposits protection scheme. Third one is measures to shore up the liquidity of banks. The last two pertains to the stability of banking system in Greece. And these structural reforms were voted by Greece parliament in spite of resistance from 30 members of Syriza party belonging to the Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras. Some opposition parties voted for the government, and subsequently these reforms are through now. Some of the reforms are through, and VAT was increased from 13% to 23% as the first stage of reform, and immediate implementation took place, and the capital controls were also relaxed to some extent. Capital control means daily limit of 60 euros. You can withdraw only 60 euros from bank and 420 euros per week. This is the limit imposed. So capital controls were imposed, and subsequently now Greece appears to be on track. Only time can say whether the reforms passed will further boost the economy or cripple the economy. Only time can say, right? Look into the next one. USA, Cuba, normalize relations after 54 years. Communist country, capitalist country coming together is made possible in the 21st century. You cannot think of this development in the 20th century. Now 21st century is the era of economic might. We are seeing China's economic might. Not only that, the era of geopolitics. Geopolitics will dictate the relations. So economic might as well as geopolitics will dictate 21st century. And now Cuba and the United States of America decided to open up embassies. Please look into this picture. USA and Cuba are very close. USA and Cuba are very close, and now they decided to start their embassies, right? So look into the next issue. Land law amendment by Maldives. India expresses its concern. Do you know what is the name of Maldivian parliament? That is People's Majlis. Please don't forget. Maldives is the beautiful country with atolls, with islands. You may ask, what is atoll? Please look into this picture. This is atoll. Maldives is the country with the beautiful atolls. And recently, Maldives took a decision to allow foreign ownership of its islands. Maldives took a decision to allow foreign ownership of islands. Here, two conditions are there. First and the foremost is, whoever plans to own the land should invest at least $1 billion. should invest at least $1 billion. Second thing is 70% of the land is to be reclaimed from sea. The biggest problem with Maldives is land area is very less. So whoever reclaims the land, 70% of the land is to be reclaimed. Second thing is $1 billion investment. Whoever satisfies these two conditions, they can own the land in Maldives. And you see, $1 billion investment. Naturally, it favors China because of its economic might. Second thing is 70% of the land is to be reclaimed. That will again benefit China because it has got expertise in reclaiming islands. Example is the Spratly Islands in South China Sea. And because of these two things, India expressed its concern because China may take advantage of these conditions and China may establish their military base because this Maldives country, please look into this country, this is in the Indian Ocean. Already China is militarizing the areas in South China Sea. All of you are familiar with the South China Sea. China is reclaiming Spratly Islands and Philippines and Vietnam expressed their concern because of that development. Now the land amendment law of Maldives may ultimately benefit China. So India expressed its concern because India does not want a military presence of any country in the Indian Ocean region. So India expressed its concern, but Maldives finally stated that no one will be allowed to take away the sovereignty of the land, and this amendment is purely with the business interest as stated by Maldives. Right friends, look into the next issue. 2 dead in firing in Louisiana state of United States of America. Firings are became quite common. Recently, Barack Obama expressed his serious apprehension about the gun culture in the United States of America. In an interview to BBC, what he stated in his own words, if you look at the number of Americans killed since 9/11 by terrorism, what is 9/11? 9/11 is September 11 when the World Trade Center was attacked by planes, and subsequent to that incident, number of Americans killed by terrorism are less than 100. But if you look at the gun culture, because of shootings, guns are available everywhere in United States of America. It is a huge lobby, and because of gun culture, tens of thousands of people were killed in America, and he says that his biggest frustration is not amending the gun laws. If you ask what are the problems faced by the democracy of United States of America, is first and the foremost is gun culture. If you look into this slide, the USA has got more guns per 100 residents. USA has got more guns per 100 residents. And second important aspect, if you ask me, the biggest problem is racism, still prevalent in United States of America. So guns and racism, these two are the biggest problems of United States of America, and the United States of America holds the record of having more guns per 100 population. Right? So Obama himself says he is fed up with not only gun culture but also with the racism. Right? Look into the next issue, sports. Srishant, Ajit Chandila, Ankit Chavan discharged in IPL spot fixing case. These three players belongs to Rajasthan Royals. In 2013, they were charge sheeted in spot fixing case. Sessions Court in New Delhi gave the verdict and they were discharged. And Dawood Ibrahim, Chota Shakil and 4 others were still officially declared as proclaimed offenders by the Sessions Court. And all of you are well aware, Srishant, Ajit Chandila, Ankit Chavan, these three players, cricketers, belongs to Rajasthan Royals, and it is not clear now whether BCCI will lift the ban or not. Right friends, look into the miscellaneous events. India top recipient of US economic aid in 66 years. I would like to tell you 2 points. India received $65 billion of aid from United States of America during the past 66 years. Closely followed by Israel and UK. This is economic aid, that is alright, but military aid has gone to not only Israel, Vietnam, Egypt and Afghanistan. Even Pakistan received $12 billion of military aid, whereas India's military aid is even less than $1 billion. That clearly shows economic aid was received by India, but not military aid. Look into the last one, 7 Indian companies in Fortune 500 list. You can look into this slide. Fortune is the magazine of United States of America, which publishes this list every year, and the top 5 are Walmart, then Sinopec Group, Royal Dutch Shell, China National Petroleum, Exxon Mobil, and the firms of India is Indian Oil. This is at 119th position, please don't forget. Right friends, with this let us conclude this week's lecture part, and please do join for news analysis and features. We are going to discuss important aspects, and have a nice day. Thank you.